Okay, we'll begin with the invocation. If you could please rise. I've taken this prayer out of a little booklet called For Such Times as This, written by the National Day of Prayer. This is just one of the prayers. It's a prayer for our government, and this is out of 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 13 and 17, which reads, "Submit yourselves for the Lord's sake to every authority instituted among men. Show proper respect to everyone." We bow our heads. Lord, submission to those in government authority can be very difficult in days of conflict over values and disagreement over priorities. Today, many of us become cynical the moment things do not line up with our standards and desires. Teach me to be submissive to your will rather than to be filled with criticism for leaders who do not share my values. I resist the cynical spirit that wants to creep in, and I choose to trust in your sovereignty over all the situations that trouble me. Help me to remember to show proper respect to all people and to pray for them earnestly, serving as a witness of your love. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, you'll find out Thursday when you're watching our meeting at 7 o'clock that we are not able to televise a meeting on Tuesday night, which is tonight. We've had a malfunction we're trying to figure out. It could be the hard drive. We won't know probably until tomorrow. So what we're doing is we're taping, and I ask for your patience because we only have one camera in the back. So when you watch the meeting on Thursday and Saturday and Sunday, it'll be somewhat of a different view. We hope to have everything up and running as quickly as possible. So thank you for your patience, and again, I do apologize for any inconvenience. And really, I just have one announcement. You may have noticed that a member of our audience is not here tonight, Clarence Cook. He has been at just about every meeting since I can remember. He passed away last week. He was a very dedicated family member and a husband, and he was a big supporter of Shelby Township. So he's a very kind man, and we ask you to keep his family in your prayers and also in your thoughts. Thank you very much. Mr. Clerk, can you please take the roll?
Here, Michael Flynn.
Here.
Stan Grotz here. Rick Stefficus.
Here.
John Vermeulen.
Here.
Vince Viviano.
Here.
Lynn Wilhelm.
Here.
And Doug Wozniak.
Here.
We have a quorum, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Grote. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda that has been presented?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Move to approve consent agenda as follows. Minutes, board meeting February 6, 2018. Move to approve the minutes as presented. B, inspector job description. Move to approve the job description for the position of Inspector 1, plan reviewer as presented. And C, bill run in the amount of $2,908,021.45. I move to approve the bill run in that amount. Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Grote and seconded by Mr. Wozniak. Please take the roll.
Stanley Grote, yes. Doug Wozniak?
Yes.
Michael Flynn?
Yes.
Rick Stefficus?
Yes.
John Vermeulen?
Yes.
Vince Viviano?
Yes.
And Lynn Wilhelm?
Yes.
Motion carries, Mr.
Thank you. Let me just go through the agenda, and we can't put that up tonight. I do apologize, but we do have just 7 items, and I'll read them to you. The first is adoption of the zoning ordinance amendment, 212.110, clear zoning format conversion. Number 2, promotion in the planning and zoning department. Number 3, office clerk, new hire. Number 4, DPW replacement hire and promotions. There are 4 of them. Number 5, primary road inspection. Number 6, architectural services for proposed library senior center. And finally, number 7 is the appointment to the Board of Review.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Mr. Clerk?
Move to approve the regular agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Grote and seconded by Mr. Wozniak. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Okay, motion passes. Residents, this is the opportunity for you to address a board regarding any of the items in our agenda this evening. Your comments pursuant to the board policy are limited to 3 minutes. Please keep in mind, while the scope of your discussion at this point of the meeting should be limited to agenda items, you will also have an opportunity at the end of the meeting to discuss a wider range of topics that relate to the township. And by the way, in that last, I did ask if, I did not ask, I should have, does anybody oppose the agenda? Okay, good. Now we're official. Yes, sir.
Not much of an audience. Number 2, promotion in the planning department. The person that's being promoted, is it because she's got continued education? And the continued education, if that's the case, this education that the taxpayers paid for, and now as she completed her classes, we're rewarding her with a promotion and a job and raising her pay. And in the clerk's office, you got a new hiree on the agenda.
It's not the clerk's office, sir.
Pardon me?
It's not the clerk's office.
What office is it?
Well, go ahead.
Yeah, just go ahead. It's Human Resources. Go ahead.
I can't hear you.
It's Human Resources.
And then you hiring somebody in the Human Resources Department.
Anyone else? Okay, thank you very much, and we'll go ahead and start with our agenda. Mr. Glenn Wynn, I see you're here, and you can start with the adoption of zoning ordinance amendment 212.110.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and board members. We're asking for board's consideration of final approval of the clear zoning amendment. As you know, the zoning adoption process has 2 steps: introduction, publication, then adoption and publications. The last meeting, the board introduced the amendment. We published a notice in the paper. Now we're asking you just to confirm that action by do the final adoption. And once that step is completed, we will publish the second notice, and in 8 days, the new ordinance will take effect.
Okay, very good.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Wozniak,
I move to approve and publish an amendment to the text and map of the Charter Township of Shelby zoning ordinance, ordinance number 212.110 for the clear zoning format conversion.
Second.
motion made by Mr. Wozniak, seconded by Ms. Wilhelm. Any discussion, questions? Okay, roll call, please.
Doug Wozniak.
Yes.
Lynn Wilhelm.
Yes.
Vince Viviano.
Yes.
John Vermeulen.
Yes.
Rick Steffikis.
Yes.
Stan Grot, yes, and Michael Flynn.
Yes.
Motion carries, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Mr. Grote, item number 2.
This is the, I guess since Lisa Sweet is not here from Human Resources, this is the promotion in our department, and we're creating a new position in the Planning and Zoning Department called Planning Department Manager, and it's a reflection of the evolution of job responsibilities for one of our staff members, and to provide an appropriate succession planning in the, with my anticipated retirement sometime in mid-2019. The change that, and the job description is consistent with what we presented to the board during the budget sessions, and it gives us a whole year plus to provide a logical and meaningful transition in our department, and it's working really well so far.
So
And-
continued education has nothing to do with this promotion.
Well, what's really nice about it, the person who we're promoting is working on her master's degree and is a couple credits short of obtaining that. We have another staff member who's completing his master's degree. I have mine. So we're building, the goal was to build capacity, and I think we're successful in achieving that.
Mr. Chairman?
And just one more thing. So we're not promoting because of continued education, we're promoting because of the skill set.
Skill set and increased responsibilities.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Flynn.
I'd move to promote employee 11009 to the position of Planning Department Manager at pay grade 25, supervisory step 1, and in accordance with the current supervisory employees collective bargaining agreement effective February 21st, 2018.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Flynn, seconded by Mr. Vermeulen. Any questions, discussion? I just want to say she has done an outstanding job. She's been here for how long?
A long time. She's been in our department 2 separate times, and she has a lot of
What do you
experience.
mean, in this role?
In this role, about 4 years.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Our Human Resources Director, Ms. Lisa Suda, is seeking board concurrence tonight with her request to fill a vacancy in her department that was created by a promotion last month. The applicant meets all the education and experience requirements, and this request is made in full compliance with the General Employee Civil Service rules and regulations. Motion, please.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to approve the hire of Amber Beauchamp in the position of office clerk at pay grade 10, step 1A, and in accordance with the current municipal employees collective bargaining agreement, and to begin employment on March 5th of 2018.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Viviano, seconded by Mr. Wozniak. And I do want to say this is an office clerk in the office, in the Department of Human Resources. Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Our DPW Director, Mr. David Miller, who's with us tonight, and our Human Resources Director, Ms. Lisa Suda, are seeking board permission tonight to approve 3 items in the DPW department. First, we are asked to consider an employee from the position of maintenance person 1 to the vacant position of maintenance person 1A. The employee being considered for this promotion has worked in the DPW department and progressively more responsible positions since 2012. Additionally, if we approve the previous item, we are asked to promote DPW employee from the position of meter reader to the position of maintenance trainee. Finally, as a department discussed in the 2018 budget session, there are 2 additional maintenance trainee, maintenance person 1 positions vacant in the department. We are asked to take action tonight so that to hire an individual from the current eligibility list to fill this spot.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah, Mr. Flynn.
I'd move to approve the promotion of employee 10588 to the position of maintenance person 1A at pay grade 18, step 6A, effective February 21st, 2018, and the promotion of employee 11408 to the position of maintenance trainee at pay grade 14, step 1A, effective February 21st, 2018, and to hire Stephen Prater in the position of maintenance trainee at pay grade 14, step 1A, effective on or after March 5th, 2018, all in the Township's Department of Public Works and in accordance with the current municipal employees collective bargaining agreement.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Flynn, seconded by Mr. Groh. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, real
Yes,
quick.
Mr. Wozniak.
Mr. Miller, how many vacancies do you still have after this? I thought it was a little confusing.
Come on up.
A little confusing on the diagram.
By the way, as Mr. Miller is walking up, I just want to remind everybody, sorry about the way we're only have 1 camera tonight because we had a malfunction with the equipment room, so hopefully we'll be back to normal in 2 weeks. But tonight, we only have 1 camera, and that's why you're looking at the odd angle. Go ahead, Mr. Miller.
Mr. Supervisor, Board of Trustees, with the retirement, recent retirement of number of employees plus another person leaving for a different reason, we've got, we'll have 2 more vacancies at this point after these hires.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Miller, for coming in. Primary road inspection. Our board continues to make road repairs a high priority here in the township. Every board member is absolutely regarded this as one of our number 1 priorities, always has, and probably will continue to. We've witnessed firsthand the impact this winter is having on our roads. I know, Mr. Viviano, you've been out there, and there's only so much the road commission can do, but we do appreciate the good work that you are out there, even in the rain and what have you. With this next item, I am asking the board to authorize our township engineer, Fazal Khan and Associates, to examine approximately 70 miles of roadway so it can draft a report prioritizing repairs and suggesting potential way to rehabilitate our roads. The cost of this assignment is for a fee not to exceed $12,000, and don't confuse this with a PASER report, which would be for all the neighborhood subdivisions. These are for the main roads only. So when we have our consultation and meeting with the road commission, we can tell them exactly what is our top priority or 2 or 3. Do I have that right, Mr. Viviano?
Is this still going to be a PASER rating of these roads? It is.
We're not calling it Pazer, we're calling it a priority
Okay.
in terms of what needs to be fixed first. And which road, I mean, is it Mound, is it Shelby Road, is it 23 Mile Road? I mean, they're all very bad. And I think we need an engineer to help us through this so we can actually identify the highest priority roads that need repairs the worst right now. So would someone like to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion.
Mr. Viviano?
To concur with the recommendation of the township engineer to perform an inspection of the major roadways in the township totaling approximately 70 miles to determine necessary work to restore our roads to acceptable levels.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Viviano and seconded by Mr. Flynn. Any questions?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Mr. Flynn.
I know you and I talked about this afternoon, but just for the benefit of pointing out again to the public, it's very frustrating for all of us up here living in Shelby Township. We are a township, and what most folks at home don't realize is that the roads, other than the state roads, are governed by the county.
Right.
So when we get into these extremely frustrating situations, and there's a couple of man-eaters on Jewel on my ride into work, and I look at them, and I'm just as frustrated as everybody else who's had to pay for a tire this year, but then we get the calls, I know you get most of them, Mr. Chairman, as a supervisor, and we have to say, you know what, we're gonna log it, but we have to forward it to the county. So what this is a way that, as local elected officials, we can kind of take a proactive approach and really get in front of the county so that we know exactly what's going on and where it's going on. Again, realizing that we are limited by the fact that we are a township and the county controls our roads, but I think this is an inexpensive way to kind of get to the front of the line and make sure that we're doing every single thing we can as local government for the people at home. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Couldn't have said it any better. I thank you for that explanation. The only small point I want to add is that we're looking for a partner, the county. We have the money in the bank, so as many projects as they okay, we're ready to pay cash right on the spot. So this report, as Mr. Flynn pointed out, will help identify those opportunities. Okay? Someone like to make a motion?
It's on. You got it.
We
Oh,
already
got it.
did.
I'm sorry. Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay, architectural services for proposed library senior center. Well, thanks to the efforts of Mr. Michael Flynn and our township board, who have completed the sale of Shelby Manor apartment complex, there are funds available to pay cash for a new building or library. I should say the library/senior center. And it's also going to have Parks and Recreation administrative offices and somehow ShelbyTV as well. So tonight we are asked to consider a recommendation from Township Engineer that to accept a proposal by the engineering firm of AEW, who has been the same engineer that we bid out when we had the court done. So the court was the first step of a bigger process. And it would be the same engineer who knows the campus real well to perform the architectural and engineering services for this new project. And I might add that the chairwoman of this project is Ms. Wilhelm. And I know you've had a couple of meetings.
Yes.
Going real well, but we really need to get this first step so we can find out how much this is going to cost, and then we can have a discussion as to how much we can afford. But we need to find out if we put all the needs forward, not wants, but needs, how much can we afford? Do I have that right, Ms. Wilhelm?
Yes.
Okay. Would someone like to make a motion? Ms. Wilhelm?
Would. I move to concur with the recommendation of the township engineer to retain the services of Anderson, Eckstein, and Westrick, Inc. for preliminary architectural services for the proposed library senior center in the sum of $73,600.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Wilhelm, seconded by Mr. Wozniak. Any discussion? The only thing I want to say is be assured, because every trustee up here has reminded me that we're paying cash. So there will be no tax increases, no bonding. We will build what we can afford. Did I say that right, members of the, okay, good, trustees, thank you. And I do get reminded of that. I don't need the reminder, but I do get reminded, so thank you very much. Okay. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. And finally, we have an appointment to the committees and commission, and would someone like to make a motion for that? This is for the Board of Reviews, and he will serve as an alternate of the Board of Review. His name is Richard D., somebody help me with the name, is it Booty?
Odie.
Bodie, well, I wasn't even close. Thank you, Mr. Grote. Motion, please.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Vermeulen.
I move to appoint Richard Buotti to serve as an alternate of the Board of Review for the remaining two-year term of member Chris Sarniak with an expiration date of December 31st, 2018.
Second.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Vermeulen and seconded by Ms. Wilhelm. Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. And finally, we had a guest, and I told her just simply come when you can, because I know she's had a very busy night. She's had other places to go. Her name is Ms. Sandy Bauer, founder, Vets Returning Home. It's a great organization. I've met her many times. And Ms. Bauer, could you please come up and tell us exactly what you do? It's a great story. And now, I've got an address here in Roseville. Is that where, do you operate out of your house or out of a building?
No. We're located on the
Tell us all about it.
northeast corner of 11 and Gratiot. 4 years ago, I purchased the old Red Cross building, and it's, we have 43 beds, and we are a 501c3 nonprofit that house veterans in crisis. So they actually live on premise. We have a full commercial kitchen and laundry room and resource center and career closet. To date, we have housed over 700 veterans at our facility here in Roseville, and probably another couple hundred of families that we've been able to assist, kind of to keep them from going homeless.
That's
So
fantastic.
Our whole goal is, once these veterans come in and they stay at our facility, we help them stabilize. We first identify the issues that brought them to crisis, and then kind of put them in a roadmap of how to address those issues to find stability. We get them connected with their long overdue disability income and/or jobs for those that are employable. Once they've stabilized, once they've got their income, then we connect them with a government grant. It's called the SSVF grant that helps pay for their security deposit, first month's rent, and buys them a bed. And then we, through donations from the community of used furniture, they just go down to our warehouse, they pick out the furniture that they want, and then we move them into their apartments and help them stock their pantry and their refrigerators. And then we try to give them that ongoing support, because some of these veterans, the average income once they are funded with their disability is the income is $1,100. So, it's, if the moon doesn't align with the stars, they're in trouble again, so.
How long have you been doing this?
4 years, just a little over 4 years.
And do you accept private funds? And if so, how much of the private funding makes up your revenue?
Well, it's 100%
1,000.
private funding.
100%.
From the community.
Okay.
We've chosen not to accept government funding. We've never pursued that, and that this allows our program to do things out of the box.
I see.
And just a quick example, when I bought the building August 1st, 2013, actually closed August 1st, and we got our first veteran August 3rd. And the building had been in foreclosure. I had to, had to reconfigure space and do a whole build out and furnish it and all that stuff. So I said to the veteran, he'd been sleeping on the bench outside of Checkers fast food for 3 weeks. And I said to him, I don't even know how to turn the lights on in this building yet. I said, but it's obviously safer here for you. I can give you a sleeping bag. The toilets work. You can take a shower. And I said, but if anybody asks, you tell them you're my night watchman, because I don't have an occupancy permit.
Wow.
So those are things, again, I'm a problem solver. And if with the government's restrictions and how they want the programs ran, I think that, we've just chosen to go outside of that. It's harder, keep the lights on, but.
So if people want to help you, how do they do that?
Well, there's a lot of ways that you can help. Obviously, our website, there's a Donate Now button, and it's vetsreturninghome.org.
Say that again?
vetsreturninghome.org.
Okay.
And we have an upcoming event coming on March 10th at the Royalty House at dinner. Tickets are $50. And the Royalty House actually donates the facility and the food, and so 100% of that $50 comes back to Vets Returning Home.
March 10th, and where is that again?
The Royalty House.
Okay,
On 13
and
and Van Dyke,
how much are the tickets?
$50.
Okay, great.
We have a golf outing in June. We are the charity of choice for the Tiger Alumni Association, so if you like golfing with the Tiger, It's a great event. If I say so myself, I don't mean to sound arrogant.
Well, I don't golf, but I do like to eat.
There
So
you go.
maybe I'll see you on the 10th.
And we have the dinner too. Yeah, we have a dinner at the golf, after golf, if you don't want to golf. But that would be great, yes. And you can donate clothes, you can donate food. We serve over 800 meals a week out of our facility, and that's always a challenge as well.
800 a week?
Yeah, there's about 20 families in the community that we continuously, they have more month than money. So some things we have an overabundance of, so we always like to make sure nothing goes to waste. But, there are things that just don't get donated that.
And you get vets from Shelby Township as well?
We take vets from everywhere, and that's, again, another thing with the government funding programs. I would be taking Macomb County veterans or Michigan veterans, and, if you're a veteran and you're in crisis, I had a veteran who was a truck driver from Tennessee, and he was in the hospital, emergency, and they sent somebody else to take his truck, and next thing you know, he's out of the hospital with nowhere to go. So, we'll take any veteran that we can help.
Well, Ms. Bonner, you're a blessing to our community. Keep up the good work, and any way we can help you, please come back, and we'll advertise you as many times as you want to be advertised. It's a great, great initiative in our community. And yes, there are a lot of vets that are out there that do need help. I know we've got a veterans coordinator, Mr. Randazzo, who is very involved as well, but 800 meals a week, wow, that is tremendous, and you've only been doing this for 4 years.
It's a big job.
You're a terrific organizer, I must say.
I'm a problem solver, for sure.
And also,
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry about the setup, but our main room went down, so this is kind of, we only have one camera working tonight, so if people watch it, they can still get the information.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
for your
very
time.
much. Thanks for coming by.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, now it's time for announcements, and I'm going to do something different tonight. I'm going to start with Mr. Wozniak on my left side because I think we're all excited about a groundbreaking that's about to take place very soon. It's our court, and I know Mr. Wozniak is paying pretty close attention because he's a chairman of this committee. So why don't you go ahead and start and tell us about when this is going to happen, and just give us a general update on the court.
Great, thank you for that opportunity. I put together just a little synopsis of how we're getting to where we're going to be in about 9 months. Proposals were received for construction of the new 20,000 square foot 41A District Court on October 31st of 2017. The new court will be located just south of the existing police station and on the municipal campus. Following the proposal submittal, 4 contractors with the lowest proposed price were interviewed by a team of staff, consultants, and trustees. Burnco, Inc. was selected to construct the court, and the contract already has been executed. Shop drawings and submittals have already begun, and a groundbreaking is anticipated for early April. The new construction should take about 9 months, with the court operating early next year in their new location. And again, that's just south of the existing police station. Concept planning for the police station expansion began in late 2017. Following planning meetings and a board approval, the preparation of construction plans for an expansion of 7,200 square feet and interior renovations of 3,000 square feet began. The design development phase is complete, and the bidding documents are currently being prepared. It is anticipated that proposals will be received in early May, with a contract execution sometime in June. Construction will begin in July with an anticipated completion date of early 2019. So both those projects are in the go position right now.
Great. Thank you very much. I do appreciate that. And what about your other announcements?
Yep. Let's start with the library. Orphan Train in Michigan. 12,500 orphans from New York City and Boston were placed with families in Michigan from 1854 to 1927. Al and David Eicher spent a year and a half in research gathering photographs about the orphan train riders in Michigan. They have produced a lecture and video documentary about the experience of being an orphan train rider and will visit the Shelby Township Library to present their fascinating research. No registration required. Wednesday, February 21st, from 7 to 8:30 p.m. And then Pisanki egg decorating. Learn about the traditional art of Ukrainian egg coloring. Local resident Kathy Wandre will share her decades of experience with the ancient folk art and give participants the opportunity to try it themselves. Due to popular demand, this class will be held twice, March 7th and March 14th at 7 p.m. Registration is required. The classes fill up quickly. Participants must be 18 years of age or older. So you can call the library to reserve your spot. And then 2 drop-in story times for children are planned for early March, March 2nd at 10 a.m. Join us for Baby Bears, stories, songs, and playtime for children under the age of 2 with a caregiver. And then March 8th, 6:30 p.m., families and jammies, all ages are welcome for stories, songs, and activities. Then the Senior Center. There's a new program called PATH. Hosting this new program for seniors who want to learn more about managing conditions like arthritis, depression, diabetes, high blood pressure, or heart disease. That's me. This 6-week course is designed to help you manage symptoms and choose goals for yourself. Please call the Senior Center at 586-739-7540 for more details. Then volunteer opportunities. If you want to volunteer your time and give back to the community, Wednesday, March 14th, they're going to partner with the Kiwanis Club to work on community service projects. No special skills are required. We can use any help and anybody that shows up. Stop in any time from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock. No advanced registration is required. And the last item is the Action Club Pancake Breakfast. The Kiwanis Action Club will be hosting a pancake breakfast at the Senior Center on Wednesday, March 7th at 9 a.m. A $3 donation is suggested. All ages are welcome to join us for this wonderful fundraiser. Thank you.
Okay, everybody always asks me, why do I start on the right? Well, that's why, because there are no more announcements. He's covered everything. No, I'm kidding. Mr. Vermeulen, any announcements?
Yes, I would. I would like to thank everybody who wished me well after I had a heart attack and came out of Beaumont Hospital. You know, for me, it's the first time it was kind of a surprise that this happened, but I'm feeling a lot better, and I thank you for all your cards and well wishes and all the phone calls that I received from people in the community wishing me well and praying for my health, including Mr. Stathikas. I thought that was very nice of him. He's been very understanding about what I've been going through, and I appreciate that. That's it for me.
Well, thank you, and every board member is concerned about you. They called me, and we continue to keep you in our prayers and in our thoughts. So just keep getting well, and I wasn't really expecting you to come here tonight, but it's good to see you, and you're looking well. Thank you. Mr. Grote?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, just one announcement. We will have a special election May 8th. That is Macomb Community College bond proposal. It is a special election, so it's in addition to 2 others that we'll be having, one in August and one in November. I'll have more information at the next meeting regarding this issue. Thank you.
Good. Hey, by the way, one thing I want to add to what Mr., I probably it's needless to say, but I'll mention it again anyway, that when Mr. Wozniak was given his report on the court, that too, like everything, will be paid for in cash, no bonding, no borrowing, everything will be cash. So want to make sure that everybody understands that. Yes, Mr. Flynn.
Yes, sir. Can you skip me because my computer just went haywire?
We can come back to you.
Yeah.
Ms. Wilhelm?
I have nothing tonight.
Okay, and Mr. Viviano?
I went on that link that Glenn had sent us about Amazon. It's pretty impressive.
Oh,
He
okay.
sent that link to go on there and see the progress of it.
Yeah,
It's
good.
pretty impressive. It's moving along well. And then,
They're coming along fast. I mean, they're going to have this done, they say, by or right around Labor Day, and they're right on schedule, if not
yeah.
ahead.
it's probably ahead of schedule. But Mr. Flynn was saying about the potholes. If anybody has them, just call 463-8671 and just tell us where they're at, and maintenance will get right on them.
Okay, thank you very much. And I just have one announcement. We're really proud of this. We always talk about Shelby Township being a better place to learn, and people ask, what is that all about? Well, here we go. College Board names Utica Community School teacher, the Midwest, in the whole Midwest, Best AP Educator. Utica Community, and I'm taking this out of the Macomb Daily, Saturday, February 17th. Utica Community Schools Computer Science Teacher Robert Strawn has been named the top advanced placement teacher in the Midwest. Strawn of Eisenhower High School has been named the 2018 AP Teacher of the Year for the College Board's 13th state Midwestern region. And Dr. John said that Mr. Strawn, his colleagues, all of his students, with a focus on providing them the tools that they need to be successful in college and careers. Very good at it. Has been doing a great job. And according to Superintendent Christine Johns and according to the many, many people who actually elevated him to this wonderful award. So to Mr. Strawn and to the entire UCS, all the teachers and all the administration, congratulations. We're very proud of you. Now, it's your turn, Mr. Flynn.
I'm ready. Youth baseball and softball registration is underway. It's open to residents and non-residents. Leagues begin late April or early May, and then depending on field conditions are completed by July 4th. You can sign up online, by phone, or at Parks and Rec here on the Township campus. The Easter Bunny Lunch is at the Community Center, March 24th, 11 a.m. sharp. Enjoy pizza, salad, and a surprise entertainer geared for kids ages 10 and under. You have to reserve tickets in advance, as no tickets will be sold at the door. And then the Easter Egg Scramble is March 24th at Riverbends Park. Hunt for goodie-filled plastic eggs beginning at 1 p.m. for ages 3 to 5, 2 p.m. for ages 6 to 10. Watch for an appearance by the Easter Bunny, and don't forget your camera and basket. This family fun event is free for residents of Shelby and Utica and is held rain or shine. Please contact Shelby Parks and Rec to pre-register.
Thank you, Mr. Flynn. Okay, we're back, and we do thank you for your patience. So now it's time for business from the floor, and we conduct township business here consistent with the way a business meeting is handled. Here, each member will be allowed up to 3 minutes to discuss business that is relevant to the operation of our terrific township. Who would like to go first? Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman and the Board of Trustees, I'm here to speak on my good buddy that we lost, Clarence Cook. Him and I have been good friends, very good friends, for 18 years. And I'd like to leave a little information on his life here in Shelby Township, what he did for the memorial out here in front of our township grounds. You can see the names of the KIAs on 4 wars from World War I through Vietnam. When that memorial was put into place, there was no KIAs on it at all. And I don't want to really knock anybody up here. The previous 2 boards didn't see fit to put them names there. They were there on the old memorial that was in place there.
That was before 2008.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. This was like 18, 20 years ago.
Okay.
Nothing to do with here at all. And Mr. Huth's aware of some of the things I'm going to say, but I'm not going to beat it to death or take all your time up. But Mr. Cook played the big role in getting them names put on there. It was him. He see me at the Ocean Breeze that evening after the board meeting when the names were rejected, because it was a cost of $3,700 to add them 19 names on there. And that was the end of it. The committee left. Mr. Cook and I went to Ocean Breeze. I ate a bowl of chicken soup up there, and I was crying in my chicken soup because I told him hundreds of times I could have died and my name would have been on the memorial that was there. But when the new one came, there was no names of the KIAs. And rejection from the boards. And then Mr. Cook says, let's go back. And I didn't know nothing about Robert's rules or whoever. And I didn't even know where the building was, and I lived here all my life, so.
Don't worry about that. Some people tell me that I don't either.
But anyhow, we came back and he spoke from the floor. He got up and challenged the board. He roughed him up a little bit. And one of the trustees put it up to a motion again and seconded it, and bam, that was it. And but the names were put up
30 seconds.
for 30. The 19 names were put up, and that was because of Mr. Cook. See me and him sitting at the Ocean Breeze. Otherwise, there wouldn't be no names up there. So I just wanted to let the people know that he's been with the submariners, the Pearl Harbor. He guided them because they were the old timers, you know. And I can go, but I'm going to catch your time there.
I do have a question.
Sure.
The original memorial with the names on before the new one showed up, what happened to that memorial? Is that the one that was moved where?
That was moved to the VFW Hall,
Utica, right?
Got it. Okay.
Shelby Township.
Oh, it's
Got it.
Right here at the disco post, but it has a Shelby Township name on it. But when the new one came in, the names were missing. But Mr. Cook, for the record, he's the one who did it.
Well, thank you very much, and we also appreciate the good work that you do as our Veterans Coordinator, Mr. Randazzo. Thank you very much. Is there anyone else that would like to go? Yes.
Mr. Stathigus, members of the board, Janet Moore, Shelby Township. I would just like to say a couple things. I was very sorry to hear former Shelby Detective Steve Surcheck passed away in Florida in December. Steve and his wife Joyce, who also worked at the township, were my next-door neighbors on 26 Mile Road for many years. I always missed them after they moved to Florida, and was very sorry to hear of Steve's passing. The brief illness and passing of Mr. Cook is also very sad. I didn't know him well, but I did know him well enough to know that I liked him. I liked the way he said what he believed and believed in what he said. He was always pulling for the people, the underdog. He had tenacity. He also had class. People think to have class, you either have to be born into wealth or of noble birth. But we all know you can be born to noble birth and have no class at all. But you can be a coal miner and have class oozing from every pore. Mr. Cook had this quality. He had, in my opinion, class. So, Mr. Cook, Clarence, we will miss you. Mm-hmm. You were obviously a man not to be bullied, for we all know you only get bullies where you get cowards. You're a tough act to follow. I had the pleasure of meeting your wonderful family at your funeral. I wish it were under happier circumstances. For your kindness, your love of Shelby, and the support of its people, we are grateful to you. Your task is done. You played your part well. You will be missed. Knowing you has been our pleasure. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yes, a very dedicated husband and family person, and a father, and a very kind man indeed. Anyone else tonight? Yes, sir.
Good evening. I wanted to begin by once again telling this board that young Galassa had nothing to do with that mailing, and that you perpetrate that myth every time you accuse him of doing so. The reason that you were portrayed as a group of fascists is based upon the acts that you took leading up to that election. When you outlawed firewood sales in Shelby Township and could not explain why, it was imperative that nobody in Shelby Township be allowed to sell firewood, became evident it was because it was a power trip. That's the only reason you did it. The reason you outlawed people or prohibited them through ordinance on parking on the front grass of the homes they own had no impact on the proper operation of the township, but you did it because you could, as every other fascist in the world has done. And when you were asked by me several times, Dick, you gave me that Mussolini stare down without any answer. Obviously, the sign of a truly transparent regime. Now, Mike, you also claimed that that young man lost the election and had very few votes. But as I recall, you won that primary by 1 or 2%. And was that 1 or 2% as a result of the counted votes, assisted by the hands-on review of all the mailed-in votes, of which thousands and thousands were found to be, what did you call them, Stan? Spoiled. Is that the average? I've asked that a few times, Stan. How many votes were counted and spoiled out of all the total votes? Do you have that number? Is it there? And lastly, I think the reason that the young man finds you reprehensible, Mikey, is like he found out, as did all your previous wives, that you were not the person they originally thought you were. Instead, you were found to be a person they didn't want to be associated with.
Time's up, sir.
I didn't hear the 30 seconds.
Okay, thank you very much for coming down. We do appreciate it, and I will, oh, go ahead.
Well, I just want to know if you'll ever answer the question why you
we will.
outlawed
If you
firewood.
could have a seat, please. Yes, we will.
Tonight?
I will not be responding to the election. I mean, the election is long gone, a year and a half ago, and it's over. But you did ask a question about the wood sales, and Mr. Huth, if you wanted to talk about that, that'd be great.
Well, the township did confine wood sales to commercial enterprises and not to as a home occupation. And the action taken with respect to parking cars in the driveway as opposed to front lawn, it was only that our ordinance, Section 9, was amended to say that driveways needed to be made of concrete, asphalt, or block product. And we outlawed grass driveways, slag, and gravel for new construction. So that was the action the township took, sir, in response to that.
Yeah, and Mr. Chairman, I see we've, as usual, ran out of truthful things to say. I think I won that election by about 18 points.
Okay.
So,
Thank you very much. Anyone else?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to answer on the election. Our community is not any different proportionally than any other community. There are thousands of ballots spoiled all over the state, simply because that's the way the system is set up. I put out a proposal couple weeks ago to change the system of partisan primary. Right now, partisan primary, everything is packed on one ballot. Both parties, or two parties, or three parties, they all pack on one ballot. So people cross over back and forth, and the minute they cross from one party to another, the ballot is spoiled. It's happening all over the state. It's thousands of ballots. It's not only in Shelby Township. Hopefully, the legislators will pick up my ideas, my proposals to change the system and provide multiple ballots, so people can ask actually for the style of a ballot, not necessarily the party. They don't have to claim the party in the partisan primary, but they can ask for a different ballot, for instance, Republican or Democratic ballot. This way, they get only one ballot in their hand, and they have to choose the candidates only from one party.
The way it is now.
Not the way it's now. Right now, they can go back and forth, and the minute they cross that party, the ballot becomes spoiled.
Right.
When the absentee ballots go out, we have no way of correcting that problem. When they go to vote on election day, they push that ballot through the machine kicks it back out if it's a spoiled ballot. On the absentee ballots, people actually don't know that they spoiled the ballot until the day of election. There's a short version I could give you. we're not the only one, we're not any exceptions to the rule. Ballots are being spoiled all over the state the way it is right now. Thank you.
Anyone else tonight? Yes, sir, in the front, Mr. Churchill.
Ron Churchill, Mound Road. Mr. Supervisor, I want to bring up something that should concern everybody in this great nation of ours. Many of you have probably heard about the mass shooting in Florida at a high school, another mass shooting where 17 students were killed, and I think it was 25 wounded. Mr. Supervisor, this is very important. I have an idea, some information that needs to get out there. If I go over a few seconds, please let me finish for once, okay? Could you do that?
Continue.
I'm begging you. People need to hear this. I listen to a lot of talk radio. Many talk radio programs, and listen to callers that call in all over the country. And they say, we should do this, we should do that, the other thing. I thought of something that should be done that so far I have not heard one person mention this. And this would work. And it'd be fairly cheap. I've heard, in fact, Mr. Cook told me this. There are numerous places in the township, schools, churches, etc., certain places, maybe VFW halls or whatever. They have signs out front saying, gun-free zone. Do you know that to be true, Mr. Supervisor?
No, I don't.
Well, I've been told that there are numerous places where there are signs in front of schools.
30 seconds.
Please let me finish, Mr. Huth, what I want to say. These signs that say gun-free zones, how stupid can you be to advertise to a shooter? You might as well say, come in and shoot at this place. You'll get a high body count. I have a suggestion that should be done immediately. Instead of having those signs
Time's up, sir.
say gun-free zone, why not just change those signs to say simply warning armed security on premises?
Okay,
That's
thank
all
you
we
very
have to
much.
do.
Okay.
I think this should be
Thank you.
changed immediately.
You're
Mr.
over your time
Supervisor.
limit. If I give you any more time, I'm going to get a ton of calls, and I don't,
Well,
and
this-
I don't need those calls.
this is all
You're getting me in
psychological.
trouble right now, but I want to thank you for that idea, and I will pass it along. Thank you very much. And I do want to say that I have been in contact with Dr. Johns. Actually, she contacted me and wanted me to know that her policies, the policies for UCS, are in place, but they're always open to new ideas. They're updating them now. And it's my understanding there's actually a meeting at the county level with the superintendent and many principals. Can you elaborate on that, Mr.
I think it
Viviano?
was some of the local police agencies, ours.
I'm sorry, not the
sheriff's
principals,
department,
but the police chiefs. Go ahead.
police chiefs and the school,
Yep.
school districts all the way up to MISD about having to be able to connect into the footage there and see within the buildings when something does happen.
So the communication, I suppose, could be a possibility of being improved.
Stop a lot of carnage.
Yeah, good, okay. Who would like to go next? No, sir, you're out of order. You're out of order. That's my first warning and last. Thank you. Yes, sir. You can come up.
Thomas Turner, Shelby Township. I would like to bring something up that hasn't appeared in the January bill runs. Every January, since I've been taking note of the expenses in this township, we have paid the fire department retirees a benefit. There's 2 pages here of the retired firefighters' benefit, and it comes to an amount of $40,000. Now, this January's bill runs, they're not in there. I'd like to know, did you discontinue the retirement benefit, extra benefit for the retired firefighters? Or did you hide the expense in some other particular bill run that I don't get a chance to see? Another thing I'd like to point out is that last year, with the exercise classes here in the township for township employees, the yoga classes came to $1,710. And the express workout classes came to another $900. And then the extra exercise class that's here was another $76. So a grand total of $2,686 of tax dollars paid to township employees to exercise. I'd like to know if you know of any other community or any other business that provides these kind of exercise classes for their employees.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
We'll wait till you sit down. Go ahead.
And I'd like to know where you hid those bill runs, those expenses for retired firefighters that are not in the January bill runs, which amounted, of course, to $40,000. And then for the month of February, we have a membership expense of $7,544.40 just for 1 month. And I'm going to keep track of these membership expenses from here on out, and I always have, but I never brought it up. But I'm going to pay particular attention to how many memberships the township employees have to belong to.
30 seconds.
And if they belong to some personal membership for their department, they ought to be able to pay that out of their own pockets. Because we pay for their trips out of town, we pay for their meals, we pay for their lodging, all because they have a conference or a workshop or a seminar outside of Shelby Township. Time we ought to look at these expenses and start cutting down on some of this stuff when contract time comes around.
Time's
That's
up,
our
sir.
money you're spending.
Time's up. Thank you very much for coming in. I do appreciate it. Is there anyone else tonight that would like to come up?
No, you don't.
Pardon?
No, you don't.
Okay. And I just want you to know, too, if you want some answers the night that you have these questions, it would be very helpful if you could just pick one of us and, let us have some time to look all this up, so when you come up here at the podium, we can give you some very quick answers. I really don't, I think I know the pages you're referring to, but with that kind of money, I really don't want to guess. So if you do want to pick a trustee and call us or visit us, we'd be more than happy to look into that. Okay? Anyone else tonight? Okay, well, I guess all the business having been conducted here tonight, I would wonder if a motion to adjourn would be something somebody would like to do.
Mr. Chairman?
Oh, hey, by the way, I'm sorry, Mr. Vermeulen, you did have, you wanted to comment on that.
Yeah, when it came down to the issue of the exercise classes, in graduate school, I learned that when we studied Deming and how things were transitioning in Japan, Japanese companies use exercise programs to reduce workplace absenteeism, to improve employee health, which basically reduce the cost for insurance. And I think it's a small piece to pay to get people exercising, and it pays dividends. There's less sick time, other problems like that.
I don't.
Okay, well, anyway, would someone like to make a motion, Mr. Vermeulen?
Mr. Chairman, I move to conclude the board meeting.
Support.
Motion made by Mr. Vermeulen, seconded by Mr. Viviano. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We are adjourned. We'll see everyone in 2 weeks. Thank you.